every day. We have heard stories from the day one that we were, we have come to this world. We have heard many stories. Every day we keep on telling stories. And the point is, at home, when we are with the loved ones of ours, we are very good in telling stories. We are good in influencing them. We are very good in trying to tell the story and the incorporate message with them. And that's fine. That's no problem. I keep on telling stories to my wife every time. Sometimes she believes, sometimes she doesn't believe. That's fine, as long as we have the bond. Even if she does not believe me, that's fine. I mean, I can live. The next day morning, I can do something like giving a rose or something like that, as Jai Pratap advised us. You can just make it fine. But the things are different in the corporate environment. In the corporate environment, the stories that you tell might lose or win a game. Now, some of you might not like this, but that's the truth. How many of you agree that in corporate environments, in the work that we do, we tell stories? I mean, that's the truth. We tell different types of stories. It can be a meeting presentation. It can be a speech that you give about the next month's planning, or it can be a retrospective meeting. Why did we fail that particular project that day? We make stories. What's my plan for 2023 for my department? It's a story. What are the 3 things that we expect from the interns of this company? It's a story. How can we boom or improve the tourists coming into the Sri Lanka? It's a story that you make. We all, in different capacities, make stories. Well, as human beings, we are absolutely good in making stories. Especially when we were young, we heard a lot of stories and we created a lot of stories. And now that most of us are adults, we feel that we are not storytellers, but actually inside, we all are storytellers. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to spend about 20-25 minutes talking about stories. We all love stories. Let me share my screen. I hope that you will love the story that we are going to share. How many of you, I want you to, in fact, find the chat icon. Find the chat icon and tell me, how many of you are actually a fan of Tyrion Lannister? How many of you are a fan of Tyrion Lannister? I want to find the chat icon, say me. Type me if you are a fan of Tyrion Lannister. Oh, so be it. If you don't like Tyrion Lannister, how many of you are a fan of Game of Thrones? Yeah, some of you must have read the long, big, bulky book. Set of books, in fact. One book is of this size, and there are 101 books. And then you have the TV series, which is really long. But Tyrion Lannister says that he's kind of a wise guy in the story. But he unites people. Is it the armies? Is it the gold? Or is it the flags? Well, it's a story that we tell them. People are united or broken based on the story that we tell them. All of you who are here are leaders. I know that. Are leaders of some sort. Some of you are fathers, mothers, girlfriends, boyfriends. Some of them are corporate leaders. Some of you have teams that you're working with. Some of you have much bigger duties. Probably you are advising to the ministers. Probably you are handling certain very important departments in the country. Some of you may be serving foreign clients. And your stories will either get them, unite them, or you break them. Whether the project goes on or not depends on the story that you tell. So let's talk about stories. And this is not going to be rocket science. This is nothing that I know better and you know nothing. No, this is something that we both share. It's in our DNA. So let's write a good story. Storytelling is a very simple process of creating an emotional connect between you and me. I'm telling a story. I'm just making something and you are listening. And if you're listening well, and if I'm telling the story correct, you and me will be connected. We will be bonded. We will be having an emotional connect, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We loved our grandmothers more than our mothers, most of us, because of the stories that she used to say. And we used to believe them. We used to hate certain people because of the stories that they have said, not because those are bad people. Can you remember? Can you remember that there were certain people from a childhood that we do not like? Example, you get certain cartoons. There are certain cartoon characters that we hate. There are certain movie characters that we hate because of the story, and there are certain other characters that we really love. Certain princesses, we all love them. Certain villains, we hate them because of the story that we say. So it's all about the emotional connect, how I am connected to you. And what is digital? Well, technical definitions, let's keep it apart. What we mean by digital at the moment is, can you use internet to collect the information and to process it? So what is digital storytelling? You tell a story so that you can make an emotional bond with you and your audience digitally through internet. Can I use the modern internet? I mean, it's not modern, it's pretty old now. Can I use internet to tell a story to my audience members so that I have an emotional connect with you? Can I get you to listen to me? Can I get you to react to my presentation? Can I get you to type a good comment about my presentation? That all depends on whether you have an emotional attachment to me. And how can I arouse that emotional attachment? Is through a story. Based on the story that I tell, you will decide whether you're going to be attached to me or not emotionally. And if I have done that correctly, I've told you a good story. So the first thing first that you and me need to understand is he'll change the story, adjust the story so that I get the necessary response. How many of you agree? Put a yes in the chat if you agree with me. Let's see how many of you agree with me. Let's see how many of you are, if you're with me. Brilliant. Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. In any time, if you find my voice or the video, something is lagging, just put a message. Right? All right, let's actually see some of the stories that we like. Now, some of you may be looking for vehicles. Some of you may be, trying to sell a vehicle. And this is, I don't know what is this, Honda car. I'm not that of a big vehicle enthusiast, so I'm not that, I don't know a lot about vehicles. So it's a Honda car, which is valued at 3.7. And I think this is Ikman. So this is Ikman.lk. This is absolutely the typical thing that we do, right? I have a vehicle that I need to sell. I put it to the Ikman.lk. Here are the photos, Here are the information. Brand is Honda. It is condition is used. Body type is saloon. Model is a code. Year of manufacture 2000. How much it has driven? 148,000. It's a petrol car. 2000 cc, automatic. Blah 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 blah. Here are the information. Here is the photo. Here are the photos of car, and here's the price, and it's negotiable. Would you like to buy the car? Well, let me ask you. Let me ask it from you. I mean, let's imagine you are looking for somebody says voice is breaking. So let me turn off my camera for a moment. Is it breaking at the moment? Can someone please respond?
Moment, Thilina, you are very clear.
I'm clear, thank you. I want you to tell me now. Let's imagine that you are trying to buy a car and you see this advertisement. If the price is, let's assume that the price is okay. From 0 to 10, how much you are likely to buy this car? 0 to 10. 0 being nothing. 10 means you absolutely love this idea of buying this car. So give me a number. 0 to 10. What's the number? What's the number? 0 to 10. How likely are you to buy this car? I mean, just imagine the price is okay. Just imagine the car model you like. Just imagine everything else is okay. How motivated, how influenced are you to buy this? All right, Chamra says 5. 4, not that big deal. Malaka says 3. Yeah, Vadin Ali says 8. Maybe for a profitable business. Everybody's like floating around 4, 5. All right. I want you to keep that idea with you for a moment. I'm going to show the same car now, right? I'm going to show you the same car. Nothing changed. It's the same car, same mileage, same year of manufacturing, same features, everything same. I'm going to play a video. Not sure if I share the video with sound. So I'm going to anyway play it. Let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear it?
You're different.
Can
You
you hear
do
it?
Yes, we can.
All right, let me put it from the beginning.
things your way. You're different. You do things your way. That's what makes you one of a kind. You don't need things. You're happy with who you are. You don't care about money. You have everything you've ever wanted. You don't do it for appearances. You do it because it works. And this is not a car. This is you. It's a lifestyle, a choice, your choice. Introducing a used 1996 Honda Accord, a car for people who have life figured out and just need a way to get somewhere. Luxury is a state of mind.
I hope you heard it. I hope you saw the message. Now let me ask you, how likely are you to buy that one? Oh, thank you. Purushottam says 10. Yeah, some of you are saying 10. Now it's the same car, it's the same thing, nothing changed, but some of you are now much more inclined. Malika says 0. Thank you. All right. Now, some of you felt like something about that car, something about that car. Let me tell you what actually happened to that car. This is a real advertisement. A guy wanted to help the girlfriend to sell his car, and he did this little commercial, and he put it in the eBay as the auction. And you know what? You may have seen that the price that he suggested was $400, $499. But did you know it went up to $15,000? And the auction was cancelled by eBay, thinking that it was a fraud. $500 went up to $15,000 just because of the story. So stories can unite people, stories can break people, stories can make an emotional bond. Stories are really powerful, absolutely powerful. I mean, look at this one, the next example that I'm going to take. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is just a real picture that was put in a billboard in, I think it was England. Yeah, it's England. In the message that they want to convey was immigrants are really important in England. That's the message that they wanted to, send it out to the communities, that immigrants are really important part in the England, in the UK culture. They could have said set a billboard with saying immigrants are important, sort of a thing. But they didn't do that. What they did was they put this picture. You can see that it's sort of a football field. It's a certain football field. And you can see certain names are crossed out. Certain names are crossed out. Yeah, certain names are crossed out. Those are the people or the players who are from immigrant background. So they are not saying anything about the importance of immigrants. Instead, they put a picture and say, this is the England team without immigration. Only 3 people, 4 people in the entire football team. And immediately it captures the attention of the UK community, and they feel, immigrants are really important. So let me take care for them. The message is transcribed into a story so that it stays with us. How does this happen, ladies and gentlemen? How does it happen with a story? It has happened many years ago in traditional shops. It has happened. We made that emotional connect with our people around us. You know this. And then later, now we are modern, still we are doing this when our friends get together, when your relatives get together. What you are really doing is not sharing information. What you are really doing is making that emotional bond. And Facebook and social media has sometimes challenged it, but still we are trying to find that emotional bond. Every time somebody put a like to my message, I feel like that she and I have emotional contact. And whether that is true or false is a separate discussion, but stories unite people. And there's a science between that. There are certain things called mirror neurons, where scientists have found out when someone tells a story, the listener, there are certain mirror neurons in the brain that the listener automatically mirrors the feeling. So if I'm saying a sad story, you will feel sad because some of your neurons will imitate what my neurons are feeling. That's why we feel you when you're telling a story. And there's this absolutely brilliant, powerful feature of stories that it can transpose us to different other things. So I take a book and read it. I'm in that world. You will be immersed in that new world. And stories can take us to another world. I mean, think about that car video that you show. So you are not here. Momentarily, you were living in that car with that lady and driving through that freeway, and you like that feeling. You are transposed into that next level. Digital stories are really important. And another important fact, when we are analyzing facts, most of us are corporate people. We have a lot of facts to analyze. It's just the left side. There are about limited spaces of our brain that gets activated when you're processing facts. But when you are processing a story, there are many parts in the brain that gets activated, and that's a plus point. Our retention goes up, our comprehension goes up, so stories are important. And the most important thing, when we have when you are listening to a story, different types of chemicals are exposed from the brain. We feel happy, which is oxytocin. Then we have dopamine, which binds us and we anticipate pleasure. We want what's going to happen next. Cortisol makes us curious. We want to know what happens in the next episode. We want to know what happens in the next chapter. We are absolutely anxious. Cortisol comes in. The endorphin kills the pain. If we are so sad, you read a book, you listen to a story, you listen to a song, and we are attached to the story, and it becomes a natural painkiller. It just refreshes us from stress. So ability of you to tell a digital story is really important. It drives your emotions, not logic. I mean, think about it. It's actually not emotions that drive people. It's not logic that drives people. It's emotions that drive people. I mean, think about it. Now, I'm overweight and I'm pretty educated, and I know by logic that if I go to the gym, I will reduce weight. But I don't do that. It's logically true, but I don't do that. But if my wedding is coming, during my wedding time, I wanted to look good to my bride and to my relatives and all. It was an emotional need. So I went to the gym. After the things are over, I finished it. That's a separate discussion. But it's logic. It's not logic that drives you to certain actions. It's emotions that drive you. So if you need people to be emotionally connected to you, it's nothing else but stories. Now, it can transform you. Just think about it. I'm in anger. I'm in angry with my wife. I listen to a song. The song talks about a happy married couple. So I watch a film which gives a beautiful, the love story of these two people, and I'm again in love with my wife. Transformation. You have a suicidal thought. You read a blog post about someone who was suicidal and came up to become a millionaire. You feel inspired about that person and you change your life. So ladies and gentlemen, the stories have the capability of transforming your life. And you also can do that. Now, let's take a second and see how you can do it. There are multiple ways you can do it. There are multiple types of stories that you can tell. For example, if you take the film King Kong, it's about overcoming a monster. If you take, the film Shrek, it's how you go from rags to riches. It's another form of story. I want you to do a little bit of research on this. There's another type of story, which is a quest. You start from somewhere, you go somewhere to a destination. Hobbit is an exemplary good example. And Voyage and Return, The Wizard of Oz. You go somewhere, come back. You tell a story about going and coming back. And Frozen is a sort of a comedy which gives you a meaningful idea. You get Romeo and Juliet is a tragic story. You get Christmas Carol, it's about a rebirth. And so these are different types of stories. In fact, if you go into the film industry, you will find that there are a limited number of stories that you can tell. In fact, these are the only types of stories that you can tell. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 types of stories that you can tell. So whatever the story that you tell will be one of these 7. It's either a comedy, a quest, overcoming the monster, tragedy, rags to riches, whatever. And one of the most famous story that you can ever tell is this quest, the overcoming the monster. There is overcoming the monster has been used as a technique multiple times. So let me take only 2 minutes and give you an example how you can use this storyline to create your own digital forms. I want you to remember that TV advertisement of the car. I want you to remember that advertisement about the UK football team. Remember, it's about the message, but how you can tell that message in a form so that you make an emotional connect with your audience. That's the meaning, that's the idea. So how can you use it? We have 7 different stories that we can tell, and every story has their own different types of plots. Here's an example, a story plot, number of plots in a story which is of the type overcoming the monster, like King Kong. There's a monster and we have to overcome. Now here's how that type of a story typically flows. There's a backstory. Once upon a time, there was this one. Once upon a time, there was this girl, and da. And he finds that he wants to become someone big, like Harry Potter. Harry Potter has a backstory. His parents were killed by a monster. And he wants to become that hero who kills the beast. And he can't do that. That's the hero part. Remember, that's the hero part. He wants to be an hero. But he cannot become a hero because there are certain stakes. He doesn't know enough magic. And he's really weak. Just because he's really weak, and just because he doesn't know enough magic, he cannot fight with the Lord Voldemort, who is the villain. So now Harry Potter wants to become the hero, and he can't fight. There's a problem. That problem is stakes. That problem is disruption. Something is disrupted. Something is disrupted, and the villains keep on coming. The Professor Snape becomes a villain, antagonist, and there are other people who are against him. And now, remember, Harry Potter wants to become a hero. There are problems, and there are many antagonists against him. And in order to go on that journey, Harry Potter gets a mentor, who is professor. I can't remember his name. Professor of the school. And he gets Hagrid as the mentor. He gets about 2-3 mentors. And Professor McGonagall and multiple people, later Severus and different type of people. So there are certain mentors who come and help the guy to become a hero. And there's the journey that he takes. He collects people and he goes on and he fights, and finally he wins the match, the victory part. The Voldemort is broken, and Harry Potter becomes a brilliant, the best person, victory. And then there's a moral of the story, and there's a ritual. Ritual means how can you remember Harry Potter again and again and again, even when the movie is finished. This is the plot of a story where you can build up a meeting a monster type of a story. Now, all in all, ladies and gentlemen, you and me, we are storytellers, and we have multiple opportunities at our corporate life. There are different types of stories that I can tell. Even if you forget all of these things, I want you to do one thing from today onwards. Whatever the discussions that you make, whatever the presentations that you make, whatever the reports that you type, whatever the things that you do, I want you to try to make an emotional connect with your audience, not just a professional connect, but an emotional connect with your audience. I'm 100% sure you can do it. If you want more, learn about the movie industry.